This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark from March 23rd, 2021. A really good outing for Dark. 14 matches. This is episode 81 of Dark. A pretty long show. At least it wasn't 2 hours long exactly. But it clocked in between an hour and a half and 2 hours. Good outings. Let me tell you how I usually do this kind of thing, right? Since most of these matches are what I call foregone conclusion matches, where you know who's going to win, you know who's going to lose. Squash matches, jobber matches, if you want to be an asshole about it. How I grade those matches, which is the majority of the matches on the card, is on a 3-check scale. You get a first check if the proper person is put over in a way that is memorable. Their finisher is put over, for example. A second check mark if they look really good in the process, because that is the point of these matches after all, is to separate the stars from those that are not stars yet. And a third check mark if the person who is losing the match does a good job in defeat or is given a disproportionately large share of offense by the person they are wrestling against. And for competitive matches, it's also a 3-check scale. It's also a 3-check scale, and the 3-check scale goes as follows. A check mark if both participants in the match look good. A second match if the winner is clearly defined and elevated by the victory. And then a third check mark if something is advanced that can help somebody out on Dynamite, for example. So if they use a new finisher, or if they do something gimmick-wise or angle-wise, or they establish something that can continue this feud, if that's what it ends up being, or we advance something angle-wise for Dynamite, then they get a third check mark. All right, let's just jump into it. And I usually pick a performer of the show as well, an enhancement talent who I felt did a particularly good job. And let's get into it. We got Taz and Excalibur on commentary. Taz puts over the FTW title match between Brian Cage and Brandon Cutler. So we start, though, however, with the Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. And again, it's really great that they're not headlining all of these Dark shows anymore. I think that's smart. And they're going up against the Dark Order of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. John Silver, who has a match against Darby Allin for the TNT title tomorrow night on Dynamite. So I'd expect he's going to get the lion's share of the offense and the great moments, and that certainly comes to pass. Super good match, super well executed. Obviously, the Dark Order are doing their thing. Right now, they're enjoying a great babyface push as a group in general. The Dark Order hits the Dark Destroyer for the win. 3 check marks. Nothing extraordinary, but definitely a good solid outing for Alex Reynolds and John Silver and the people that they beat. Alex Marvez is backstage with SCU, asking them about, how do you feel that Pac and Rey Fenix are getting a title shot for the tag titles, even though you guys are ranked number 1. Christopher Daniels says, who cares? They're going to continue to win, and they'll break up if they lose, so they put that over again. And they said they're going to keep winning. They're going to face the AEW Tag Team Champions and remind people that they never should have forgotten about us in the first place. Good promo. Great work, especially by Christopher Daniels here. Our next match is Jor-El Nelson and Royce Isaacs against Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, SCU. SCU, of course, are really excel at these matches. They're old pros. I like that they're no longer running with the thing of Daniels is a liability. They just look like a well-oiled machine here, Frankie and Christopher Daniels. Jor-El Nelson does a pretty good job. Royce Isaacs does a fair job as well. Nothing special, but they're there for their spots. SCU kind of walks them through a pretty good squash match, and then they hit the best moonsault ever. Daniels hits it on his own, further cementing the fact that he is not a liability anymore. I liked it. SCU wins. 3 check marks I'll go ahead and give. We'll see if Dark can get its 6th show where they have 3 check marks all night long. Elevation got their first yesterday, and so we'll see if Dark can match them. Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian against Miranda Alize. I really like the look of Miranda Alize here. I thought she looked really phenomenal. Ford looked very solid as she has. The only quibble I ever have with Ford is I think that springboard stunner or springboard cutter thing she does doesn't look really good. And then I get a nice surprise. Ford hits a kick to the back, lung blower, and then goes back to the fisherman suplex, which I'm very glad to see. It's something that Ford does really well, especially that bridge with on the tippy toes and all that stuff. I think she needs to stick there and just take that handspring, cutter, whatever the fuck, and throw that the fuck away. She doesn't need to do it. Penelope Ford looks good. Her opponent looks good. 3 check marks. Ricky Starks joins commentary in time for Adam Priest, Baron Black, who's been doing exceptionally well lately, and Jake St. Patrick, who's always very solid, against the Gun Club, Austin, Billy, and Colton Gunn. Typical 6-man affair here with the Gun Club. They're good at this stuff because Billy is there to direct traffic. Everything they do makes sense. They sell really well, and then they hit that 310 to Yuma for the win, which is great because then I don't have to see that hip toss into the neck breaker thing that I hate. 3 check marks, and we're moving along. This next match I would consider a competitive match, so we'll grade on the slightly different scale, different standards for the 3 check marks. Jack Evans against Dante Martin of Top Flight, and really good stuff. They really kind of show off a little bit. You're going to get that with Jack Evans. He can certainly deliver high-flying offense. Even though he's been doing this forever and a day, he's still, a physical marvel. Dante is made to look really good here. No doubt about it. And in fact, he scores the win with the 450. But oh my gosh, the spot where he leapt over the barricade and hit the destroyer was bonkers. Dante Martin wins this one. Jack Evans, so obviously they get a check mark because they both looked great. The whole point of this thing was to put over Dante Martin, and Jack Evans certainly did his level best. So that's a 2nd check mark. And then a 3rd check mark was something advanced? Yes, because afterwards, Angelico runs in and hits an enziguri on Dante. Obviously, we're eventually setting up a TH2 versus a Top Flight tag match in the future, once Dante's brother is medically cleared, I'm sure. So good job, 3 check marks, and we keep on rolling. FTW World Title match. Brian Cage, who's the champion with Hook, at ringside against Brandon Cutler. I don't know if this was taped before the Dynamite where Brian Cage had flattering things to say about Sting. Nonetheless, we got a match here. It's pretty good. Brian Cage is good about giving the offense that he gives, but this is obviously an exhibition for Brian Cage. Catches him, hits the drill claw. It's over. And Ricky Starks leaves commentary. Good match here. I'm not going to call this competitive because nobody in their right mind thought Brandon Cutler was going to win. So they do get the 3 check marks. Brandon Cutler is made to look good, such as it is. Though the whole point here was Brian Cage is big and bad and beautiful. The Fat Boys are beautiful. Everybody love the Fat Boys. If you know that song, you are old. Just like me. Anyway, 3 check marks. Moving on. Ashley Vox against Alex Garcia. And I think I'm not 100% sure who's winning this, so I'll grade it on the competitive scale. But the winner is Ashley Vox with a fish hook, which is like, whoa. And Gracia taps out. Alex Gracia, phenomenal job here. She may be our performer of the week. Really great stuff. Yes, they get the 3 check marks. Ashley Vox put over, looks good. Alex Gracia looks good. And Ashley Vox is instantly made into somebody a little more important. Maybe we're going to see her on Dynamite taking on a bigger star. But she picks up the win here, and I love the way that she put over her fishhook finisher and yelled and held up the fishhook, and good shit. And this show's really rolling, and it's bound to keep going because we got Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss against Seth Gargis and Very Morales. Very Morales is one of my favorites. Seth Gargis is huge. This guy is really big. My number one note for Seth Gargis. Seth Gargis, a lot of people who are wrestlers listen to this show, and because I give the advice that you need. Seth Gargis, one big note for you. When you are selling, I think it's great that you're selling. Touch what hurts. You get kicked in the face, grab your jaw. You get hit in the neck, grab your neck. Don't just stumble around for all your sells, goofy. especially your size. There's something about it that looks very, really fake and goofy. Touch what hurts is the number one rule of selling. But the match goes really well, and they actually have Seth Gargis take the pin, which surprised me. It just goes to show what they think of Very Morales, as they should, because he's fucking great. But Joey Janela, and everybody knows, I think, a lot of Sonny Kiss, they win the match, as they should. 3 check marks. Great job. Anthony Ogogo joins them on commentary. Normally, he's there at the beginning. I actually kind of like that they're slipping him in near the end on this show. I like Anthony Ogogo in limited doses, and that's how they use him. JD Drake with Ryan Nemeth, the Hollywood hunk, at ringside for him against Fuego De Sol. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I'm going to call this a competitive match as well, because I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure JD Drake is going to win this. And they seem to really love JD Drake, as does everybody else. Sure enough, this is an exhibition for JD Drake. Really looks good here. Fuego does his thing, no doubt. He gets in a lot of offense. I'm glad that they didn't do I'm going to try my tornado DDT and fail. I'm glad they didn't get there. Drake, though, hits that Claymore kick. It looks great. All that looks really solid. A great win for JD Drake. Makes me happy. Hopefully, he's on the road to getting signed. At least he's put himself in that good position. And booking-wise, they have as well. Great match. 3 check marks. Moving on. QT Marshall against Sean Dean. Sean Dean is your performer of the week. This was a solid, great match. QT Marshall, of course, he trains wrestlers, so he's good at leading the match. But Sean Dean really gave off the vibe of, I'm really trying to win this thing, and I got a chance to win this thing, even though realistically there was no chance that was going to happen. Looks good here. QT wrestles like a jerk. He looks good. He's gotten into good shape, and a kind of a cute, clever counter using the diamond cutter for the win. 3 check marks. Great stuff. Folks, we are reaching the end of this, and so far, it is check marks all along. But then I get nervous, because we got the bunny against Jasmine Allure. Jasmine Allure, who's shown signs of being really good, but not necessarily. And Bunny, who hasn't wrestled in forever and a day. But she reminds me that I loved watching her as Cherry Bomb here in Florida when she would wrestle for Shimmer and things like that, or Shine. And really strong stuff here from Bunny. Great match. A relatively quick match. This is about Bunny really showing off the savage side and really going at it hard and winning in a convincing fashion. Certainly a success. 3 check marks. Good job, Jasmine Allure. But the Bunny really took this opportunity to shine and look good. The Dark Order, this version, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, taking on Brick Aldridge, Carly Bravo. Carly Bravo really stood out in this match with his really over-the-top selling. It's not a bad route to take when you're in this multi-person match thing, to really sell in a way that is memorable. I thought that was clever. And Dean Alexander, whenever you're taking on combinations of the Dark Order and they're going over, you're going to have to take relatively complicated series of moves and different kind of weird finishers. This one's no exception. Grayson and Uno hit that fatality for the win. And then Cabana ran wild at one point. But the guys kept up. 3 check marks, no problems here. Aaron Solo and Nick Komoroto against Angel Fashion and D3. I knew Aaron and Nick were due for big wins because they're trying to give wins to Nick Komoroto. So I won't call this a competitive match, but it was a good exhibition. I thought them letting Aaron Solo get the pin with this sort of like arms crossed behind the back version of a pedigree was a really great exhibition for him, a really great look for him, and Nick Koromoto getting the win. And remember, they are in the Nightmare family, which a lot of people forget about because it's just so weird. But 3 check marks. And folks, we're going into John Schuyler against Cesar Bononi. And John Schuyler's such a pro. You know this match is going to be 3 check marks, and it is. And Cesar is made to look very dominant, very strong here. That backbreaker driver is the finisher that stands out from all of the guys who were low-level guys who are slowly rising up. It's the best finisher out of everybody in that category. Great look. 3 check marks. Great job. And I got nothing else to say about this. It's a great freaking night for AEW Dark. Holy balls, is that a lot of matches.